Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to authors, not just authors, but publishers, editors, proofreaders, paginators. There's so many things to go into getting a book out. And most of our viewers are just in the stage of finishing a book, their first book. They haven't got over the finish line yet. So we like to bring on guests who actually have gotten across that finish line. And our next guest is Dr. Gary Sprouse. Welcome, Dr. Sprouse.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
And by the way, let me put up this cover of the book for a second. Highway to Your Happy Place, Roadmap to Less Stress. Dr. Sprouse, I'm under stress all the time.
Yeah, wow. So you got to read the book.
I got to read the book. People ask, Mike, are you stressed? Oh, yes, I'm stressed. Anyway, I don't know why I have not read it, because every time I talk to you, I said, wow, that's exactly what I need. Not just me, but a bunch of people need to read this book that I know.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've been, that's one of the reasons I wrote the book, was because I'm a primary care doctor, and all my patients are coming in all stressed out, and I was like, I got to do something to help these people. And it's like, I've over the years I've honed the message down. Now what I say is we're all meant to live in our happy place, but most of us don't even know where it is or what it is. And I say to people, like, if you had less stress, where would you be? And they're like, they look at me with this quizzical look, like, I don't know, never got that far. Yeah. I only envisioned less stress. I don't know where that would put me. So I had to come up with this idea of a happy place to say, hey, this is your destination, and here's the ingredients to your happy place. And it turns out there's, like, for my mind, there's 5 ingredients. And it has to do with feeling pleasure, having contentment, having anticipation, feeling gratitude, and then feeling fulfilled. And when you put all those 5 things together, that's a happy place.
Interesting. One interesting thing you wrote was something, I don't know if I'll get it right, but the reason we're under stress is because we've all got so good at doing certain things.
Oh, well, so that's the next step, right? So here's our happy place. So we know where it is now. We know what it is. So what's keeping us from being there? And that's where our stresses are. And our stresses are these roadblocks. And I say they're due to our skills, but then I go, wait, no, it's not our skills. It's the side effects to our skills.
Side effect, yeah.
So my dog lays on our rug, and she's in her happy place all day, right? It doesn't matter what news is on, the war, this, the political, that. She just lays there, and she's all happy. And I'm like, what? Why is she not worried? And the answer is because she can't. Like, you have to be able to envision the future to be able to worry about it. So the side effect of being able to envision the future is worrying about it. My dog can't worry because she can't envision the future. She doesn't worry about where food's coming tomorrow. She just knows where the bowl is, right? So, so we have all these roadblocks to our happy place because we have a lot of skills, and they all come with side effects.
Now, you say if you're stressed, that one would be less stressed even after the first chapter of the book.
Absolutely. Well, it's because here's what I found out. Like the worst stress that you can imagine. When they rank stresses, right? One of the top stresses is your spouse dies. And you're like, I can't fix your spouse dying. But what I realize, and that's what I talk about in this book, is the reason that your spouse dying is so stressful is because it has ingredients. It has things that are part of it. So when your spouse dies, you worry, you have regret, you feel guilt, your self-esteem takes a hit. You don't have anybody to go to the movies with, so you get bored, and you get overwhelmed because there's just so much stuff going on. I can do things about that. I can help you have less worry, less guilt, less regret. I can't change that your spouse died, but there's other things I can change. And when you understand that, well, then you're automatically going to have less stress.
So a part of it is understanding ourselves?
Yes. Well, understanding where the stresses are coming from. Right. And when you understand where they're coming from, then you have a better chance of finding a tool that's going to work. So when we took care of patients with diabetes, like 300 years ago, all we knew was your sugar was too high. So our answer was, okay, we'll eat less sugar. Well, that helped a few people, but it didn't help very many. Yeah. But now we have, it's your liver, it's your stomach, it's your pancreas, it's your insulin transport, blah, blah, blah. So now we've made up better tools, and our treatment for diabetes is so much better now than it ever was before. And I feel like stress is in that same category. We're at the category where, hey, what's your stress? Well, it's my sugar's too high. And it's like, in this book, what I try to do is get into the details of like, here's where it really is coming from. So now you can do something about it.
Now, are there steps? How does a book progress?
So the book is designed, that's why I talk about one chapter, because the book is set up to say, hey, here's the stress of regret. Here's the stress of guilt. Here's the stress of worry. And it's set up so that you can just, if you don't feel bored, don't read that chapter, right? If you feel overwhelmed, read that chapter first, right? So you can read any of these chapters. And people ask me like, well, who's this book made for? And I'm like, if you're a human and you have a mind, you can get something from this book, right?
And it's not a hard read. It's not a million pages or anything, right?
No, it's like, it's a couple hundred pages.
Yeah. Now,
I think I'm doing the audiobook right now.
Oh, good.
And so I have to read my own book.
Yeah.
Which is always, you're like, like when you read it out loud, it's a very different process, right? And it's like, maybe I didn't explain that as well as I'd like or whatever. I don't know. But it comes across differently when you read it out loud. But when I read it, I get tears in my eyes reading some of these stories. I'm like, gosh.
Now, do you,
are you the person right now that it's like, it's making me sad to see this man. He's like this amazing guy, but he has all these stresses and we're just working through it to get him better.
Now, are you, my number one favorite way to consume books now is by audiobooks. I'm getting through so many more books. And talk about stress. I'm under stress to get through a lot of books. What, are you going to use your voice?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Two things. One, it's less expensive, but more important, people like to hear the author. That's what I've been learning. They want to hear how the author speaks. They want to hear how he's inflection. Because there are things that I'll emphasize that somebody who's reading the book without knowing what it's about won't be able to understand.
Right. My favorite way is for the author. I love that when the author reads a book. You just get so many, the emotion of every word. You know what's important to them and really what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
But that's coming up soon.
I have a couple more books in my head, and I've decided now that I'm going to read my audiobook before I send out the book, because when you're reading it out loud, there's things that you think, maybe I should change that.
They change the way that's said.
That before the next book comes out.
What a great idea.
I want to let you know, I'm working with a co-author named Paul Peters, and we're working on a religious version of this book.
Okay.
Like, these answers are more, psychological answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tools and stuff. But we're working together on a book where it's going to have more religion as an answer, where God comes in and Bible comes in. And I think that's going to help get this book to a new audience.
New audience, yeah. Now, by the way, I want to say that I like this book. I've been lazy about reaching out and getting it. Well, just because I have such a large stack I got to get through. But this could help me. I know it could help me. But when I go to order, I'm going to tell our viewers is don't just click and order one. Order 5 of these things or 10 of them, because you're always having to give a little gift here and there to someone. And what a great gift.
No, I was at my dentist today. I don't know if my face looks swollen, but that was there, right? And the assistant was like, "Oh, I'm really stressed out." So I gave her one of the books, and she goes, "Well, do you have another one?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, actually, I have 2." She goes, "I want to give one to my daughter." I'm like, "Awesome, there we go. That's the way it works."
Wouldn't it be great if you could have impact on someone's life just by giving them a copy of Dr. Gary Sprouse's book, The Less Stress?
One of my friends called the other day, and she said, "Hey, I bought your book, and it hit me just at the right time."
Wow.
She goes, "I was crying as I was reading." I was like, "Okay." And she goes, "I decided that I didn't like where I was living, and I've always dreamed of living near the beach." So she sold her house, bought a small bungalow about a half a mile from the beach, and now she goes to the beach like 5 days a week. And I'm like, what? Like, that wasn't what I was expecting when people read the book, but she's in her happy place. She's really enjoying herself right now.
You did that, Dr. Sprouse.
What do you say, right?
Now, one thing I like is that you're a doctor, medical doctor, and you've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and that's what shaped your thinking, I would imagine.
Here's what I found, right? So people talk about holistic medicine, and I'm like, I didn't really think of myself as a holistic doctor, but what I realized was a holistic doctor is taking care of their physical needs and their psychological needs. So I'm a holistic doctor, and what brings to the table are some different insights so that I can say, okay, well, I can prescribe medicine, but that's not the only answer. There's other answers out there, and the book talks about medicine, but it's not. I mean, that's like the afterthought. I mean, it talks about the other things that you personally can do that you don't need medicine or you don't even need a doctor. You can do these things yourself. But I also have the medical knowledge to understand, hey, your problem is not stress. It's like you're having high blood pressure or your thyroid's messed up. So I can look at it from both points of view, which gives me a very unique place to see you as a person, and I think it adds a lot to it. The other thing is because I'm a primary care doctor, I'm used to 15-minute visits, so I'm not here to butz around with your time. Like I know that one thing I find with people that are stressed out, the things they don't have are time and attention, and it's like, so my job is to get this information into you as succinctly as I can do it, so that you can use it and get, like you're in and out, right?
Yeah. Now, by the way, before we're totally out of time, we have your web address on the screen, the lessstressdoc.com. What would our viewers find there?
So right now, I'm actually just getting ready to review that. It's there. I mean, it has like some stuff about who I am, but what's going to be on there coming up is I'm going to be having a seminar in June. Nice. And there's an online course that's going to be coming out in May, and I'm working. This is my new project. I want to have a happy place society. Because what I'm finding is people can read the book and get some changes, but they're trying to do it by themselves. Yeah. And I want to have a society where people can join and we can all be like-minded and gone in all in the same direction. I think it'll be so much easier to make the changes.
Great.
That isn't up yet, though. That's I'm working on.
Well, we can't wait.
I know, neither can I.
We're under stress. We need this now. By the way, one of my most stressful times is going to the doctor, and my doctor always says, Mike, why is your blood pressure so high when you come in here? Because you caused me stress.
Yes, that's exactly right, yeah.
I hate the needles, and he's always saying, oh, yeah, now go down the hall and let's do some blood and stuff, and that sends me through the roof. So
yeah, get it, right?
Any last thoughts for our viewers, Dr. Sprouse?
Yeah, so what I try to tell people is, please, please, please do not resign yourself to being stressed out the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of resources out there. My book's just one of them. But you don't have to live like this. There are other ways to do it. It doesn't have to be, it's just I'm having so much stress and there's nothing I can do about it. People feel out of control. And what I'm saying is, you read this book, you'll get it back a sense of control of your life. And you'll get some tools that you can use that you won't have so much stress. And when My Happy Place Society comes out, you can join that too.
And by the way, here's the cover by Gary Sprouse, MD, Highway to Your Happy Place, a roadmap to less stress. Thank you, Dr. Sprouse. I hope you'll come back again soon.
Thank you for having me on here. It's such a pleasure being here.
I'm always inspired when you come on.
Yep.
All right, we will be back with another author right after this, so please don't go anywhere.